It's crazy how fast time goes, because it's been 10 days since the last episode of Let's Play WWF 2001, or the WWF WCW Invasion. And I gotta say, I'm kinda surprised that it's been that long, because it doesn't feel like it has been. But what I will say is this: for the first time in this season, we're going up to Canada. As long as the people can talk up in Canada. Yes, we can. Alright, so we're gonna head up to Canada for this edition of Monday Night Raw. And this show kicks off with an 80 as Triple H, Steve Austin, and Chris Benoit talk up the world title picture and how Triple H wants his name to be thrown in the hat as a contender for the WWF World's Heavyweight Championship. And now we're going old school because both because Bossman is going one-on-one with Al Snow in a hardcore match. To kick off Monday Night Raw tonight, a classic rivalry from the Attitude Era between two multiple-time hardcore champions. And this, yes, is Bossman's first match back from being injured. So it's good to see the Bossman back. And it's good to have him back, too. Really? Hardcore matches don't play to your strength? Really, Bossman? Really? Now Right to Censor makes their way out to the ring, and they're talking up how they defeated the Dudleys last week on Raw, and how this is the first step on their building block to gaining momentum and developing and changing the WWF and making the WWF more family friendly and more, well, censored. And this brings out the Dudley Boys, and Bubba starts to cut a promo like he would be in ECW, like he would do in ECW. And then Devon comes up to him and whispers in his ear and says, "Bubba, we're in the WWF. We're not in the ECW. We're good guys. We're talking about them." And then Bubba, shakes it off, and he looks at Devon, he looks at Stevie, and he says, "Stevie, me and my brother came to the WWF because we achieved all we could in our old home. Since we've come to the WWF, we've been a part of numerous firsts for the tag team division, and we've seen tremendous growth, not just for us, but for the WWF and for wrestling in general. But if me and my brother know one thing, we know that these people don't want to be censored. And they don't want the WWF to be censored either. And with that being said, we're gonna defend these people, and we're gonna stop you from trying to censor this company and these fans." And then it goes again, and they talk about their loss last week, and then Devon takes the mic and said, "You want to keep talking about the past? Well, how about at Judgment Day, it's the Dudley Boys versus Right to Censor." How about it? You want to put your money where your mouth is? You may have beaten us once, but let's see if you can get lucky twice. And then Stevie looks at Godfather, the Goodfather, and Val Venus, and accepts the challenge from the Dudley Boys. So it is official, the first match made official for Judgment Day is Right to Censor versus the Dudleys in a rematch. And speaking of a tag team match, the women's division for the first time this year is actually in a tag team match as Lita and Chyna team up against Ivory and Trish. And yes, I know in real life Lita and Chyna actually did team up, but I believe it was on SmackDown. I don't remember if it was after Judgment Day or going into Judgment Day or not, but I remember them teaming up on a SmackDown and also them losing. I highly doubt it was to Trish and Ivory, but who knows. Either way, Lita and Chyna, the feud is just beginning. Now we head backstage. Jacqueline is checking on Lita to make, asking Lita if she's okay after getting, because Lita took the fall in the match and took Ivory's finish because Chyna, stepped back and walked up the ramp. She didn't leave, but she stepped back and walked up the ramp. And then Chyna walks in, and Jacqueline leaves, and all Chyna tells Lita is, "It was a test. It was a test, and you earned my respect." You deserve a title shot. And then Lita's like, "You needed to see me get my ass kicked for me to earn your respect?" Chyna, you're damn right I deserve a title shot. And when we're in the ring, I'm taking your title. And the heated confrontation commences between Chyna and Lita before we shift to another part of the backstage area where Michael Cole is standing by with the Big Show, and the Big Show is talking up his match later tonight against Kane. And then we move back out to the ring with Billy Gunn going up against Rhino, and Billy Gunn gets the victory over the Man Beast. One of the first few losses for Rhino since the start of this season. Heavily pushed is Rhino. Following a commercial break, we head back to the ring with William Regal making his way down to the ring, and William grabs the microphone and says, "So I've made my decision. For those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, last week, the Hardy Boys and Lita made their way into my office asking for title shots. See, I guaranteed that I told Lita in that moment that I would be looking into giving her a title shot, and after seeing earlier tonight, Lita does, in fact, deserve an opportunity at the women's title. And that is why, at Judgment Day, Lita will be facing Chyna for the WWF Women's title." And now to the Hardy Boys. Matt, Jeff, come on down. I've made my decision, and I decided that at Judgment Day, it will be Jeff Hardy going one-on-one with the European Champion, Eddie Guerrero, for the WWF European title. Oh, whoops. Eddie was supposed to be off screen, actually. But either way, apparently I'm turning him babyface. I don't even remember. Either way, Eddie was supposed to be off screen, so that's why I didn't touch what Eddie said in the segment, because he wasn't supposed to be in the segment. Well, now we head back to the ring with Rikishi going up against a legend making a one-off, and that's Jim Duggan. Why? Well, simple. I have people left over from when I did the Gimmick Battle Royal, and I wanted to give Rikishi a win, so I put him against somebody from the Gimmick Battle Royal. And by the way, Jim Duggan got a 53 in-ring performance, so even though he's kinda old, he's not that bad. He's still not that bad. So this might not be the last you see of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And now, to continue with the weekly thing, the camera shifts up, and we see Booker T, Torrie Wilson, Shawn Stasiak, and Chronic make their way into the arena. It's kind of strange because this is the first time that we're seeing it where Diamond Dallas Page is not leading the charge. Diamond Dallas Page is nowhere to be found, and it is just Booker T. And other than Torrie Wilson, the four men have not been featured on WWF television yet. So Torrie Wilson is the only member of the Alliance, or of WCW, that has already been featured on WWF programming. Actually, I take that back. Shawn Stasiak's feud with Hugh Morris. I take that back. But once again, I'd pull it back this week, though. Instead of having Jim Ross have the same reaction, he has a different reaction, a more accepting reaction, and he's a little puzzled because Diamond Dallas Page isn't there. So he's asking, Paul, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? What business does WCW alumni have at WWF events? Well, Jim Ross, for that we would have to ask him now, wouldn't we? Jim agrees and wonders who will show up next week from the alumni side of WCW. But we still got about half the show left this week, so we got to find out what else happens tonight. And we move to the next match with Steve Blackman going up against Kurt Angle, and the Olympic gold medalist gets the victory in actually a pretty solid match, a 74 final rating, especially when you think about it, and you see Steve Blackman got a 49 in-ring performance, and apparently Steve Blackman's Rumble skill is improving. So, see, I credit this to Sam from Pro Wrestling Nation, that I don't normally click on worker improvements, but because of our, little series where we go through WWE 2004, I have started to click on worker improvements to see if anybody does in fact improve, and I'm surprised when it actually comes up that people do. And just to, put it out there, Kurt Angle got a 90 in-ring performance, so yeah, that's probably why we got a 74. After the match, Kurt gets on the stick, and he talks about what happened last week between him and Chris Jericho, and he calls Chris Jericho's win on SmackDown a fluke victory, and says that if him and Jericho get in the ring together again, Jericho won't be that lucky. Speaking of a 74, we move to the next match, and it's Kane against the Big Show in a rematch from Backlash, with Big Show getting the victory this time around, with the help of Rikishi, who makes his way down to the ring and distracts Kane, allowing the Big Show to get the victory. But something strange happens following the match, as the Big Show distracts Kane, as the Big Show, remaining in the ring, forces the Undertaker to make his way down to the ring to make sure that his brother doesn't get attacked. He doesn't get in the ring. Taker just makes his way down to ringside and stares down the Big Show, but this allows Rikishi and Haku to make their way down to the ring and surprise The Undertaker, attacking The Undertaker and further beating down Kane, but the Big Show has no part of it. In a way, the Big Show is just a decoy to allow Rikishi and Haku to sneak attack The Undertaker. But the question is, why is Rikishi and Haku attacking The Undertaker? And Kane, well, for that you'll have to wait and find out. And I'll tell you this much, a feud between the two of them aren't kicking off, or between the two teams are kicking off, and unfortunately, 77 final rating really isn't that good. I guess because, you know, because of lack of an association with a hot storyline, but The Rock hadn't been on a show since the pay-per-view, and Eddie Guerrero hasn't lost since I think maybe the first show of the year, or second show of the year. I don't think he's lost since I started recording. So, giving him a loss against The Rock, I thought the match was going to get better, but I guess I invested too much in the idea. Because, once again, we lost popularity. We lost popularity in 28 regions, and unfortunately we got a fucking 69 final rating. Honestly, I don't know why things are as bad as they are in this season. I don't give a damn if I end up losing status as a company. I don't give a damn what happens. I'm not leaving until I'm satisfied with how I booked the Invasion. And with that being the case, I plan on sticking it out, and I hope that you do too, because I want to know what you guys think. Do you think a 69 final rating is fair, or do you think that the show did better than the game gives it credit, or should have been better than the game gave it credit for? Let me know in the comment section below what you would have rated the show. What you would rate the show, and if you think it was fair that we lost 28 popularity in 28 regions. Let me know that in the comment section, because as always, feedback is more than welcomed and appreciated. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave a like, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.